So I don't really know what my neighbors are doing up on the upper floor here, but they're being hella loud. So if you hear stomping, that's them. So, hello, my name is Dot. I am a creator who has decided to try and start a YouTube channel. How original. I am hoping to kind of just be a bit of an encouragement, hopefully, maybe make you think, and maybe inspire you a little bit in your art journey as I go on mine. Ugh, that's that sounded so conceited. But we're gonna just try and get through this and see how I do. So my initial thought for this, I don't know, talk podcast. I'm gonna try and keep them to 10 minutes just because I don't have like footage like that. So hi, hello. My name is Dot and you're listening to Yarning, which is basically the segment on my channel where I hopefully can maybe help you think about I don't have an intro for this, so oh well. But the topic I was trying to talk about today, I can't talk, was this idea of being a jack of all trades and whether it's best if I focus on one medium or if I sort of explore lots of mediums and what's better, what helps you, etc. and so forth. And this is just coming from my personal opinion as somebody who is a jack of all trades, sort of. I certainly haven't tried every medium, certainly haven't tried everything, but I do a lot. And something that and the comments that I had made to me from the adults around me growing up was that I needed to focus on one thing and one thing only, otherwise I would get too distracted and I'd be good at little bits of things but not good enough at anything to make money. You know, typical thing where if you're a creative you're going to starve to death in your hovel made of artesian mud and your dreams, basically. So I was hoping to maybe encourage somebody and make an argument for why it is pretty much, it sounds to me, that argument that you can't do anything but the one thing creatively sounds like the antithesis of what creativity is. Creativity is not this thing where I am now being creative. I will pick up the paintbrush, I will put paint on the paintbrush, and then I will put the paint on the canvas. And that is creativity. That is literally not what creativity is about. For anybody who is a creative, you know it's kind of just a feeling that you get. It's just something that you need to do. It's just a way that your soul kind of moves. And please forgive me for getting a little bit hippy-dippy over on that. But it's always just so funny to me when I hear people who aren't artists usually try and tell you that, oh, you need to have one interest and one interest only, and you need to become a master of that. I don't know of anybody who's a creative that hasn't tried several mediums or doesn't work in several mediums. I don't think there is this understanding of the nuance in the world of creativity between. That's like saying I'm only allowed, if the first thing that I picked up was watercolors, I'm only allowed to paint with watercolors. Why? Why can't I paint with acrylics? Why can't I paint with oils? Maybe using that medium, even though I'm still painting, is going to allow me to express and create the thing that I want to create better. And that's just within the world of painting, for example. I think it gets a little bit more complicated when people like myself, and plenty of you guys out there, I'm sure, do the thing where maybe you are interested in painting, maybe you do a little bit of music, maybe you do jewelry a little bit, maybe you do a little bit of weaving, I'm sorry. Maybe you do a little bit of weaving, and all of those things combined allow you to authentically express all of your creative parts, where you're not neglecting any part of your expression because you've got your 4, 5, 6 things that you're doing. And I think that ideology kind of comes from this outdated idea that you have one job, you do your one job, and then when you are allowed to retire, you stop doing that job. But what I found when it comes to creativity is that having your hand in multiple cookie jars just allows you to make more awesome cookies, because you're familiar with such a wider array of ingredients, if you will. I know there are plenty of people who are able to sort of incorporate all of their interests into one piece, where somebody who maybe works with clay and painting, well, their painting allows them to make clay figurines that have these really awesome painted details, or the clay work allows them to work with their knives better when it comes to painting. So it isn't this thing where it's a reductive exercise to have your hand in a bunch of cookie jars when it comes to creativity, because there aren't boundaries as to where you can apply those skills or those techniques. Something that works for painting may work for clay, and something that works for clay may work for painting, and that clay technique on your painting is exactly what your painting needed for it to be exactly what you wanted it to be. So I always thought it was funny growing up where my parents and just the adults around me in general, let's not pick on my parents, let's include all of the adults in this, we're always telling me you have to pick one thing, you have to pick one thing, you have to be one thing. And again, I genuinely think that goes back to this whole cookie cutter sort of manufacturing of contributing citizens. Do you know how many contributing citizens are not exactly the happiest, most fulfilled people because they've only been allowed to do the one thing their whole life, and they've been promised by everybody else and society at large that if they branch out and they explore and they do anything else, or even just do something for themselves, that it's somehow going to detract from them being able to be productive, be successful. That whole one job thing works for robots. Do you know what I mean? If you've ever done any kind of programming, if you've ever watched any kind of documentary about factories, you will see that the robots in these factories, they do one job. The robotic arm is designed to put labels on, and that's all that robotic arm is capable of doing, and B, designed to do. You are a human. No matter what Alexa wants to tell you, no matter what Google is trying to tell you, no matter what Elon Musk wants you to believe, you are not a mechanical arm. You are not a programmable robot. You are a human. You are a three-dimensional human being, and you have many aspects of yourself. And I think something that's really dangerous about this whole you can't be a jack of all trades or you'll wind up without any skills is what is keeping a lot of people from having really important life skills, from being well-rounded, from being able to kind of pull from all sorts of pools to be able to problem solve and be able to branch out and stay curious and stay active in their minds and keep pushing and keep challenging themselves. When you sort of absorb and digest and believe in this ideology that you are only allowed to do the one thing. I don't think it's healthy. But we have reached my time. I am not trying to go and bore you guys for any kind of long amount of time. Again, my name is Dot. Thank you for hanging out with me for these few minutes. I hope I made you think. Maybe I inspired you, and maybe I made you think. Tschüss!